Hello. The mission story of February 1st, 2025, is coming from Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. The title, Teacher's Helper. At just 13 years old, Bold was a boy burdened with questions. The unexpected death of his father had left him deeply bitter and searching for answers to the meaning of life. His mother, too, was seeking solace, and she found it in a teacher from a traditional Mongolian religion. One day, she decided to take Bold to meet this teacher. The teacher's home was always surrounded by crowds of people desperate for guidance. Each day, individuals waited patiently outside, hoping to be called in to discuss their struggles. When someone entered, the teacher would ask about their problem, listen attentively, and then chant from his sacred Tibetan texts, verses no one could understand, as they were written in an ancient language. Yet, those who left the house seemed relieved, as if they had received clarity or comfort. Though the teacher couldn't explain why Bold's father had died, Bold was captivated by the man and his sacred writings. A bold thought crossed his mind: what if he could become the teacher's apprentice? It would be an opportunity to spend more time with him and, to Bold's delight, an excuse to skip school. "Mom," Bold said, "could you ask the teacher if he would train me?" His mother hesitated but eventually agreed to bring up the idea. When she returned home days later, she was beaming. "The teacher is thrilled," she said. "He's been waiting for someone to mentor." And so, Bold moved in with the teacher. Every morning at 6, the teacher would wake him by poking him with a wooden stick. Bold's days were long and rigorous. He studied the Tibetan language, memorized sacred texts, and completed endless chores like cooking and cleaning. For 2 years, he dedicated himself to this life, impressing his teacher with his discipline and devotion. At 15, Bold's teacher took him to a monastery, where he hoped Bold could formally train to become a teacher. The head monk tested Bold, grilling him on the sacred texts he had memorized. Bold confidently recited verses and demonstrated his knowledge. "He is well trained," the head monk said. "But we've recently accepted other boys, and there's no space left. Come back next year, and we'll take him first." It was a crushing blow. With no path forward, Bold decided to leave the teacher's care and return home. His twin sister and mother welcomed him back, but Bold now faced a new challenge: he had missed 2 years of school. Determined to catch up, Bold convinced the school principal to let him rejoin his class. He was given 2 months to prove himself, and though he had fallen behind his classmates, he worked harder than ever. To his surprise, schoolwork came easily. The years spent memorizing texts had sharpened his mind, and he quickly rose to the top of his class. By the time he graduated, Bold had a new dream: he wanted to become an English teacher. Confident in his ability to master languages, he already spoke Mongolian and Russian. He enrolled in university. But English was far harder than he had anticipated, and after only a few days, Bold was struggling to keep up. One day, his twin sister had an idea. "I've been learning English from some Americans," she said. "You should meet them." Bold was skeptical. Later, his sister showed him a New Testament in Mongolian. "These Americans are Christians," she said. "They're teaching about Christ." Alarmed, Bold protested, "We have our own traditions. Don't go to them anymore." But his sister didn't listen. "They're really kind people," she insisted. As Bold continued to struggle with his studies, he reluctantly decided to give the Americans a chance. "Maybe they can help me with English," he thought. But he was determined to stand his ground. If they mentioned Christianity, he would reject it outright. When Bold finally met the Americans, his life took a turn he hadn't expected. Bold's story is a testament to the power of God's love to reach even the most unlikely hearts. Part of this quarter's 13th Sabbath offering will help build a children's recreation center to share the gospel in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Thank you for your generosity on March 29th.